Captain Eliza Winters stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. The Epsilon Eridani system stretched before them, a canvas of stars and swirling cosmic dust. This was supposed to be a routine survey mission. 3 weeks of scanning uninhabited planets, collecting samples, and updating star charts. Nothing exciting. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Lieutenant Paul Garcia, his fingers moving quickly across his communications console. "It's faint, but it looks like a distress signal." Eliza walked over to his station. "Source?" "Working on it," Paul replied, adjusting several settings. "It's coming from the outer edge of the system, from New Haven Colony." Eliza frowned. New Haven was one of the newest human settlements, established just 5 years ago on a fertile world at the very edge of human space. Nearly 50,000 colonists had made their home there, mostly farmers and researchers. "Put it through," she ordered. The message crackled through the bridge speakers, broken and distorted. "Under attack. Unknown vessels. Demanding surrender. No defenses. Please help. Anyone." The transmission cut off abruptly. "That's all I could clean up, Captain," Paul said. The signals degraded from passing through an ion storm in Sector 7. Eliza turned to her first officer, Commander Ben Phillips. "What do we know about New Haven's defenses?" Ben shook his head. "They don't have any. It's a peaceful agricultural settlement. They have a small security force for basic policing, but no military capabilities." "And we're the closest ship," Eliza said. It wasn't a question. She knew they were at least 3 weeks from the nearest military outpost. "Yes, Captain. Even at maximum speed, we'd need at least 3 days to reach them." Eliza paced across the bridge, weighing her options. The USS Horizon wasn't a warship. It was an exploration vessel with limited weapons. They couldn't face an unknown enemy force alone. "Standard protocol is to relay the message to Earth Command and await instructions," Ben reminded her. "By the time we get those instructions, and a military response is organized, everyone on New Haven could be dead," Eliza said. She made her decision. "Lieutenant Garcia, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies, including the Omega channel." A hush fell over the bridge. Everyone knew what the Omega channel was, even though none of them had ever seen it used. It was a classified emergency communication system, designed only for extinction-level threats to humanity. "Captain," Ben said quietly, "the Omega channel requires authorization." "It's only meant for—" "I know what it's meant for," Eliza interrupted. "And I'm giving the authorization. Lieutenant, proceed." Paul hesitated for just a moment, then nodded. "Channel open, Captain." Eliza took a deep breath. "This is Captain Eliza Winters of the USS Horizon. I am declaring an Omega-level emergency. New Haven Colony is under attack by unknown hostile forces. The colony has no defenses and limited supplies. All available ships are requested to respond. Authentication code Winter Echo 739, Winters out." She turned to her navigation officer. "Lieutenant Kelly, set course for New Haven Colony, maximum speed." "Course set, Captain," replied Lieutenant Susan Kelly. "Maximum speed will put significant strain on our engines." "I'm aware. Chief Engineer Murphy?" Alan Murphy's voice came over the comm system. "Engineering here." "Alan, I need everything you can give me. We're pushing the engines beyond safety protocols." There was a brief pause. "Understood, Captain. I'll keep them running if I have to get out and push myself." "Thank you, Alan." Eliza returned to her chair. "Lieutenant Kelly, engage." The stars on the view screen elongated as the ship jumped to faster than light speed. "What exactly did we just do?" Ben asked quietly as he took his seat beside her. "We just told every human ship in this part of the galaxy that one of our colonies is facing extinction," Eliza replied. "And we asked for help." "The Omega channel hasn't been used since the early colonial period over 100 years ago," Ben said. "Most people think it's just a myth." "It's no myth, and now we'll see if anyone is listening." She looked at him steadily. "We're also probably both facing court-martial when this is over." Ben nodded, a small smile on his face. "If We survive, I'll consider that a win. For the next 3 days, the USS Horizon pushed through space at dangerous speeds. In engineering, Alan Murphy worked around the clock, keeping the straining engines from breaking down. In the medical bay, Dr. Natalie Wong prepared for potential casualties, converting storage rooms into additional treatment areas. Lieutenant Darius Jackson, the ship's security chief, drilled his small team of 15 security officers. They weren't soldiers, but they might be the only defense the colonists had. On the third day, as they approached New Haven's star system, Lieutenant Garcia called out from his station. "Captain, I'm picking up multiple signals from within the system. 5 large vessels in orbit around New Haven and smaller craft moving between the ships and the surface." "Are they human?" Eliza asked. "Negative. The design doesn't match anything in our database." "Show me." The view screen shifted to display a magnified image of the ships surrounding New Haven. They were massive dark vessels with sharp angular designs. Each one dwarfed the horizon by at least 5 times. "Life signs on the colony?" Eliza asked. "Still detecting approximately 50,000 human signatures," replied Science Officer Linda Martinez. "They appear to be concentrated in several underground locations. The colony's main structures show damage consistent with weapons fire. Any response to our hails?" Paul shook his head. "Nothing from the colony. The alien vessels are ignoring our signals." "Options?" Eliza looked at her officers. "We can't take on those ships," Ben said. "But we might be able to use our shuttles' stealth systems to get a team to the surface, establish contact with the colonists." Eliza nodded. "Make it happen. Lieutenant Jackson, prepare your team." "Already on it, Captain," Darius replied from the tactical station. "Captain," Paul suddenly called out, "I'm picking up something else. Multiple faster-than-light signatures at the edge of the system." Eliza tensed. "More hostile forces?" "I don't think so," Paul said, his voice filled with wonder. They're responding to our Omega signal. Captain, they're human ships." The bridge crew watched in amazement as the first responders to their call appeared on their sensors. 3 military frigates and a dozen civilian vessels, all converging on New Haven. "Open a channel to the lead frigate," Eliza ordered. "Channel, open." "This is Captain Eliza Winters of the USS Horizon. We sent the Omega signal." A man's voice replied, clear and confident. "Captain Winters, this is Captain Gregory Nelson of the UES Defiant. Message received. The first wave has arrived. Hold position. We're coming in." Eliza's eyes met Ben's across the bridge. The Omega protocol had worked. Help was here. And this, she realized, was only the beginning. "They came," Ben whispered. "Yes," said Eliza, watching as more ships continued to appear at the system's edge. "And I have a feeling many more are on the way." The bridge of the USS Horizon buzzed with nervous energy as Captain Eliza Winters watched the tactical display. 3 human military frigates, the Defiant, Vigilant, and Resolute, moved into defensive positions around New Haven Colony. Behind them, 12 civilian ships formed a secondary perimeter. "Captain Nelson is requesting a strategy meeting," Lieutenant Paul Garcia reported from his communication station. "Tell him I'll join in 5 minutes," Eliza replied. She turned to her first officer. "Ben, you have the bridge. Keep our sensors focused on those alien ships. I want to know if they so much as twitch." Commander Ben Phillips nodded. "Yes, Captain." Eliza made her way to the secure communications room, where a holographic meeting space had been prepared. When she entered, the images of 4 other captains were already waiting. "Captain Winters," said a stern-faced man in a crisp military uniform. "I'm Captain Gregory Nelson of the Defiant. These are Captains Lily Rodriguez of the Vigilant and William Foster of the Resolute." A woman with short gray hair nodded. "Kate, Morrison, Cargo Vessel North Star." "Richard Blackwood, Mining Transport Olympus," added an older man with a thick beard. "Thank you all for responding to the Omega signal," Eliza said. "Many more are on the way," Captain Nelson assured her. "We were just the closest. Now what exactly are we dealing with?" Eliza shared what little information they had gathered. 5 large vessels, unknown origin, They've established an orbital blockade around New Haven and have landing parties. On the surface, colony defenses are non-existent. Approximately 50,000 colonists have taken shelter underground. Have the aliens made any demands? Captain Rodriguez asked. We haven't established communication yet, Eliza admitted. But we need to contact the colonists first, find out what's happening on the ground. Captain Morrison leaned forward. My ship has experimental stealth tech we were testing for military applications. We could get a small team to the surface undetected. Good, Nelson said. Captain Winters, since your crew made first contact, I suggest you lead the ground team. My tactical officer can coordinate the space defense until more ships arrive. Eliza nodded. I have a security team ready to go. One more thing, Nelson added. We've received word from Earth Command. Admiral Samantha Powell is mobilizing the 4th Fleet. They'll arrive within 2 weeks. Until then, we need to hold the line. The meeting ended, and Eliza returned to the bridge to brief her team. Lieutenant Jackson, she called to her security. Chief, prepare your team for immediate ground insertion. We're going to the surface. Darius Jackson stood straighter. Team's been ready since we entered the system, Captain. Good. We leave in 30 minutes on the North Star's stealth shuttle. Dr. Natalie Wong approached Eliza. I'd like to join the ground team, Captain. The colonists may need medical assistance. Approved. Gather whatever supplies you can carry. As the team prepared, Science Officer Linda Martinez called Eliza to her station. Captain, I've been analyzing the alien vessels. Their design matches descriptions in our database of a species called the Axori. Tell me about them, Eliza said. Not much information available. They're known to be territorial and expansionist. They consider themselves the rightful rulers of this sector, though they haven't directly engaged with humans before now. Why attack a peaceful colony? Linda shrugged. According to these records, they may consider New Haven to be in their claimed territory. 30 minutes later, Eliza, Darius, Natalie, and 3 security officers boarded the North Star's stealth shuttle. Captain Morrison's pilot, a young woman named Valerie Lewis, guided the small craft away from the ships. Our stealth system absorbs sensor scans rather than deflecting them, Valerie explained as they descended toward New Haven. As long as nobody actually looks out a window and spots us visually, we should be fine. The shuttle skimmed low over the colony's surface. What had once been a thriving settlement now showed signs of attack. Several buildings were damaged or destroyed. The fields that had supplied food for the colonists were partially burned. There, Darius pointed to a large structure built into a hillside. That's the colony's main administrative building. According to the plans, it has underground shelters. Valerie landed the shuttle in a small clearing behind the building. The team disembarked quickly, weapons ready. Life signs? Eliza asked as Darius scanned the area. Multiple signatures below ground, and several moving our way. He tensed. They're coming from inside the building. The team took defensive positions as a hidden door in the hillside opened. A man emerged with his hands raised, followed by 2 others carrying makeshift weapons. We're from the USS Horizon, Eliza called out. We received your distress signal. The man's face showed both relief and suspicion. I'm Governor Frank Dawson. How do we know you're really human? The Axori have translation devices. We're human, Eliza assured him. We came as soon as we got your message. There are more ships on the way. After a tense moment, Dawson nodded to his companions, who lowered their weapons. Follow me inside. Quickly. Axori patrols sweep the area every few hours. They entered the hillside bunker, descending into a large underground complex. Hundreds of colonists had taken shelter here, many injured, all looking frightened. The attack came without warning, Dawson explained as he led them to a makeshift command center. 6 days ago, 5 ships appeared in orbit. They sent a message claiming we were trespassing on Axori territory and demanding immediate evacuation. What did you tell them? Eliza asked. That we were a peaceful colony, established with approval from the Galactic Council. They didn't care. They said the Council had no authority here. He sighed heavily. When we refused to leave, they started bombing our outlying structures. Then they landed troops. Have there been casualties? Dr. Wong asked, already examining an injured woman nearby. A tired-looking woman stepped forward. I'm Dr. Olivia Ward, colony physician. We've lost 37 people so far, most during the initial bombardment. Another 100 are seriously injured. Dr. Wong immediately began coordinating with Dr. Ward to help the wounded. What about communications? Eliza asked. We haven't been able to establish contact. The HFY destroyed our main transmitter, Dawson said. We've been using an emergency backup with limited range. That's what sent the SOS you picked up. Lieutenant Jackson had been studying a colony map on the wall. Governor, what defenses do you have? Dawson gave a bitter laugh. We're farmers and scientists, Lieutenant. We have some security personnel and basic weapons for protection against wildlife. Nothing that could stop a military force. Eliza activated her communicator. Winters to Horizon. We've made contact with the colonists. The attacking force is confirmed as HFY. They're claiming territorial rights to this system. Ben's voice replied, Understood, Captain. You should know that more ships have arrived. We now have 23 human vessels in the system, with more on the way. Suddenly, an alarm sounded in the bunker. A young man rushed into the command center. Governor, HFY troops are approaching from the east, at least 30 soldiers. Darius checked his weapon. My team can set up a defensive perimeter. No, Eliza said. We need to avoid direct confrontation until we have more forces on the ground. She turned to Dawson. Is there another way out of here? There's a network of maintenance tunnels that lead to the hydroponic facilities 2 kilometers north, he replied. Good. Prepare your people to move. She was interrupted by her communicator. Captain, it was Paul Garcia's voice, filled with excitement. You need to see this. The HFY ships are repositioning. Why? Eliza asked. Because, Captain, Paul replied. The first wave was just the beginning. 60 more human ships just dropped out, of faster-than-light travel. And according to their signatures, they're not explorers or cargo vessels. They're warships. Governor Dawson stared at Eliza in disbelief. Warships? But humanity doesn't maintain a large military fleet. We're known throughout the galaxy as a peaceful species. Eliza met his gaze steadily. That's what everyone was supposed to think. Governor Frank Dawson stared at the tactical display in disbelief. 60 human warships had arrived in the New Haven system, with more appearing every hour. The small command center in the underground bunker was crowded as Captain Eliza Winters coordinated with the fleet above. This doesn't make sense, Dawson said quietly. Earth has maintained a policy of minimal military presence for over a century. The Galactic Council records show our fleet has just a few dozen defensive vessels. Eliza exchanged glances with Lieutenant Darius Jackson before responding. Governor, there are some things about humanity that we don't advertise to the wider galaxy. Before she could explain further, Captain Gregory Nelson's voice came through her communicator. Captain Winters, the HFY commander, is requesting communication. I think our growing fleet has gotten their attention. Patch it through to our location, Eliza replied. The screen on the wall flickered, revealing a tall reptilian alien with blue-gray scales and 4 yellow eyes. Gold armor covered its torso and sharp teeth gleamed as it spoke. I am Supreme General Vexcrath of the HFY Dominion. You humans have 1 hour to withdraw your ships and surrender this colony. This system falls within HFY space by right of ancestral claim. Captain Nelson appeared in a split screen beside the alien. This is Captain Gregory Nelson of United Earth Ship Defiant. New Haven Colony was established legally under Galactic Council supervision 5 years ago. Your claims were denied by the Council at that time. The alien general made a dismissive gesture. The Council's authority is not recognized in this sector. You will withdraw or face destruction. That's not going to happen, Nelson replied calmly. I suggest you reconsider your position, General. More of our ships are arriving as we speak. Vexcrath's eyes narrowed. Your species is known to us, human. Agricultural settlers with minimal defensive capabilities. These borrowed warships do not frighten the HFY Dominion. The communication ended abruptly. Borrowed warships? Dawson looked confused. Eliza sighed. It's a common misconception. For decades, humanity has presented itself to the galactic community as primarily farmers, traders, and scholars. Most alien species believe we have a small defense force and limited military technology. But that's not true, Darius added. Every civilian ship has hidden military capabilities. Every colony has defense systems disguised as ordinary equipment. Even many colonists have military training. Dawson looked stunned. But why the deception? History, Eliza said simply. The first alien species we encountered were terrified of us. Not because of our technology, which was primitive compared to theirs, but because of where we evolved. Understanding dawned on Dawson's face. Earth. High gravity. Extreme temperature variations. High oxygen content. Dangerous wildlife. Exactly. We come from what the galactic community calls a death world. Most alien species evolved on planets with stable conditions and few natural predators. They found us unsettling. Our natural strength, endurance, and aggression frightened them. Their conversation was interrupted by Dr. Natalie Wong. Captain, we've moved all the wounded to the hydroponic facility as you suggested. It's more defensible and has better medical equipment. Good. We should move the rest of the colonists there soon, Eliza replied. Her communicator beeped again. Captain Winters, came Paul Garcia's voice. You need to see this. The Exori are launching fighters, at least 100 of them. They're heading for the colony. Eliza turned to Darius. We need to evacuate now. How many people can we get to the hydroponic facility before those fighters arrive? Maybe half, he estimated, grimly. The tunnels are narrow. It would take hours to move everyone. We don't have hours, Eliza said. She activated her communicator again. Nelson, the Exori are sending fighters toward the colony surface. We have civilians exposed here. Already on it, Winters, Nelson replied. We're deploying our own fighters for interception, but we need more time. Eliza made a quick decision. Security Chief Jackson will coordinate the evacuation. I need to get back to my ship. Darius looked surprised. Captain? The Horizon has equipment that might help, she explained. Governor, show me on the map where we can set up a temporary shield generator. As they examined the colony layout, Dawson pointed to a central plaza. This area has the highest power capacity. But Captain, none of our equipment includes shield technology. The Horizon does, Eliza said. It's not standard issue for an exploration vessel, but like I said, there are things we don't advertise. While Darius organized the evacuation, Eliza and 2 security officers returned to the stealth shuttle. As they flew back toward the human fleet, they could see the space battle unfolding above them. Small fighters clashed in New Haven's upper atmosphere, explosions flashing like distant lightning. The shuttle docked with the USS Horizon, and Eliza raced to the bridge. Her first officer, Ben Phillips, looked relieved to see her. Captain on bridge, he announced. Status report, Eliza demanded. The Exori launched a fighter attack, but our ships intercepted most of them, Ben reported. We've lost 3 civilian vessels and 1 military frigate so far. But Eliza, you need to see this. He gestured to the main view screen, which showed a continuous stream of human ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Military vessels of all sizes, civilian ships retrofitted with weapons, even massive colony ships that had clearly been designed with hidden military capabilities. How many? Eliza asked softly. Over 200 now, Ben replied. And, Admiral, Powell's 4th Fleet just arrived. The Indomitable is taking command of the defense operation. The USS Indomitable was the largest human dreadnought ever built, over 2 kilometers long and bristling with weapons. It moved into position at the center of the human formation, its massive presence casting a shadow even among the gathering fleet. Chief Engineer Murphy, Eliza called through the ship's communication system. Murphy here, came the reply. I need the shield generator from Storage Bay 4 prepped and loaded onto a shuttle immediately. We're taking it to the surface. That experimental prototype, It's not fully tested, Captain. It's all we've got. How soon can you have it ready? 20 minutes, Murphy replied after a brief pause. You have 15, Eliza said, and I need you to come with us to set it up. While she waited, Eliza opened a channel to the Indomitable. The stern face of Admiral Samantha Powell appeared on screen. Captain Winters, the Admiral said, I understand we have you to thank for activating the Omega Protocol. Yes, Admiral. New Haven colony was under attack with no defenses. I made the call. Powell nodded. Under the circumstances, I'm inclined to overlook the breach of protocol. We've analyzed the situation. The Exori clearly didn't expect this level of response. They don't know what we are, Eliza said. No, Powell agreed, but they're about to find out. On the view screen behind Powell, Eliza could see more ships continuing to arrive. The human fleet now formed a massive protective shell around New Haven. Ship captains from across human space had responded to the Omega signal, arriving with weapons ready and shields raised. For the first time since the crisis began, Eliza felt hope rising in her chest. She had revealed humanity's secret to save one colony. Now the full might of human space was assembling, an armada of Deathworlders that the galaxy had never seen before. Chief Engineer Alan Murphy wiped sweat from his forehead as he finished connecting the last power coupling to the shield generator. The massive device sat in the center of New Haven Colony's main plaza, surrounded by hastily evacuated buildings. Captain Eliza Winters stood nearby, monitoring the approaching Exori fighters on her handheld scanner. How much longer, Alan? She asked. 5 minutes, he replied, not looking up from his work. This thing was never meant for planetary defense. It's designed to protect a ship, not a colony. Will it work? Alan shrugged. Maybe. I've modified it to create a dome over the central colony buildings. It won't cover everything, but it should protect most of the colonists still here. Lieutenant Darius Jackson jogged up to them, his uniform dusty from helping with the evacuation. We've moved another 300 people to the hydroponic facility. That leaves about 20,000 still in this area. Eliza nodded grimly. The shield is our only option now. The fighters will be here in minutes. Her communicator beeped. Captain, came Paul Garcia's voice from the horizon. The space battle is intensifying. The Exori have committed all 5 of their capital ships. And our forces? She asked. Over 300 ships now, Captain. The Indomitable is leading the counterattack. In orbit above New Haven, the massive human dreadnought Indomitable moved steadily toward the Exori fleet. Admiral Samantha Powell stood on its bridge, watching the tactical display as hundreds of human vessels formed up behind her ship. All vessels, this is Admiral Powell, she broadcast to the fleet. Execute Deathworlder Protocol Alpha. Across the human fleet, hidden weapon systems emerged from concealed compartments. Defensive shields powered up to their full capacity, far beyond what the Exori sensors had detected earlier. Even the civilian ships revealed military-grade armaments that had been disguised as standard equipment. On the Exori command ship, Supreme General Vexcrath watched in confusion as the human fleet transformed before his eyes. What is happening? He demanded of his sensor officer. Unknown, General, the officer replied, his scales paling with fear. Human energy signatures are spiking across their fleet. Their weapons capacity has just tripled. Impossible, Vexcrath hissed. Their ships are registered as exploration and cargo vessels. Sir, his communications officer interrupted, we're receiving a message from the human admiral. Admiral Powell's face appeared on the Exori view screen. General Vexcrath, this is your final opportunity to withdraw from New Haven. You have grossly miscalculated your opponent. The Exori Dominion does not retreat, Vexcrath replied. This system is ours by right of claim. Very well, Powell said calmly. You should know who you're facing. We are from Earth, a planet with gravity 1.1 times galactic standard, atmospheric, pressure 1.0, temperature range from 50 degrees to plus 150 degrees. We evolved as pursuit predators on a world that would kill most sentient species within minutes. Vexcrath's eyes widened as understanding dawned. You're Deathworlders. Yes, Powell confirmed. For a century, we've hidden our true nature to avoid frightening our galactic neighbors. That ends today. The transmission cut off. Moments later, the human fleet attacked. Back on the colony surface, Eliza, Alan, and Darius watched the sky as flashes of light revealed the space battle raging above them. "Shield generator online," Alan announced triumphantly. A low hum filled the air as the device powered up. Activating now. A shimmering dome of energy spread outward from the generator, encompassing the central colony structures. It had barely stabilized when the first HFY fighters broke through the atmosphere, weapons firing. Energy blasts struck the shield, which rippled but held. The colonists who had been watching from buildings cheered. "It's working," Darius exclaimed. "For now," Alan cautioned. "But it's drawing power faster than I calculated. We have maybe 30 minutes before it fails." Eliza's communicator beeped again. "Captain Winters," came Admiral Powell's voice. "Status report on the colony." "Shield is up and holding, Admiral," Eliza replied. "But it's temporary. We have thousands of colonists still exposed if it fails." "Understood. We've broken through the HFY blockade. Dropships with Marines are on their way to your position. ETA 10 minutes. True to the Admiral's word, 15 minutes later, 20 large dropships descended through New Haven's atmosphere, bypassing the diminishing HFY fighter presence. They landed outside the shield perimeter, and hundreds of human Marines in full combat armor deployed. Commander Julia Evans, the Marine detachment leader, approached Eliza at the shield generator. "Captain Winters, Commander Evans, 4th Fleet Marines. We're here to secure the colony." "Glad to see you, Commander," Eliza said. "We have civilians in need of protection and wounded requiring medical evacuation." "Already on it," Evans replied. "My medics are setting up a field hospital, and we have transports ready for evacuation if needed." As they spoke, Governor Frank Dawson approached, looking bewildered at the scale of the military response. "Captain Winters, I don't understand. How is this possible? The entire galaxy believes humans are peaceful settlers with minimal military capability." Commander Evans smiled grimly. "That's exactly what we wanted them to believe, Governor. It was a decision made after our first contact with alien life," Eliza explained. "Other species found us naturally intimidating due to our evolution on Earth. Rather than frightening potential allies, Earth's leadership decided to present humanity as primarily peaceful colonists and traders. Meanwhile," Evans continued, "we built our military in secret. Every civilian ship has hidden combat capabilities. Every colony has concealed defenses. We've been preparing for a moment like this for a century." Dawson looked up as more human ships entered the atmosphere. "All this just for our small colony?" "The Omega Protocol doesn't distinguish between colonies," Eliza said. "When activated, it calls all available ships to respond. An attack on one human settlement is considered an attack on all humanity." In orbit, the battle had turned decisively. 3 of the 5 HFY capital ships had been disabled, their weapons and engines destroyed by precise human attacks. The remaining 2 were surrounded by dozens of human vessels. Admiral Powell opened a channel to Supreme General Vexcrath. "Your position is untenable, General. Surrender now, and we will spare your remaining forces." On his damaged bridge, surrounded by injured crew, Vexcrath hissed in frustration. "The HFY Dominion has never surrendered to any power." "There's always a first time," Powell replied. "You have 5 minutes to decide." As the deadline approached, Vexcrath faced the bitter truth. His intelligence about humans had been catastrophically wrong. What he had believed to be a simple operation to claim a barely defended colony had instead awakened a slumbering military giant. "Signal our surrender," he finally ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. On the colony surface, Eliza watched as the shield generator finally failed, its power cells drained. But it no longer mattered. Human Marines had established a defensive perimeter around the colony, and the sky was clear of enemy fighters. Her communicator beeped one final time. "Captain Winters," Admiral Powell said, "the HFY have surrendered. New Haven is secure." Eliza looked across the colony, where families were emerging from shelters, Marines were distributing supplies, and medical teams were treating the wounded. In the sky above, hundreds of human ships maintained their protective formation. "Thank you, Admiral," she replied. "What happens now?" "Now," Powell said, "the galaxy learns who we really are." 1 month after the Battle of New Haven, Captain Eliza Winters stood in the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council. The circular chamber was filled with representatives from over 200 alien species, all watching the human delegation, with a mixture of curiosity, respect, and barely concealed fear. Admiral Samantha Powell led the delegation, with Eliza and several other captains who had responded to the Omega signal standing behind her. At the center of the chamber, floating, holographic displays showed images of the massive human fleet that had assembled at New Haven. "The Council recognizes Admiral Samantha Powell of Earth," announced the Council chairperson, a tall, willowy alien with silver skin. "Thank you, Chairperson," Powell said, her voice calm but firm. "I come before this Council to address recent events at New Haven Colony and to correct certain misconceptions about humanity." A murmur ran through the assembled representatives. "For over a century," Powell continued, "humanity has presented itself to the galactic community as primarily peaceful settlers, traders, and scholars. This was not a lie. Most humans are indeed dedicated to peaceful pursuits. However, we deliberately downplayed our military capabilities." The Exori representative rose from his seat. "This was a deliberate deception. The humans hid their true nature from the Council." "Did we?" Powell asked. "Or did you simply see what you expected to see? Our military was never completely hidden. We simply didn't advertise it. There is no Galactic Council requirement to disclose full military capabilities." The chairperson raised a hand for silence. Admiral Powell, while the Exori attack on New Haven was clearly unlawful, many Council members are disturbed by the revelation of such a large human fleet. It suggests a level of militarization previously unknown to this body. "With respect, Chairperson," Powell replied, "humanity evolved on what many species would consider a death world. Earth's high gravity, variable climate, and predatory ecosystem shaped us into a naturally resilient species. Our early encounters with galactic civilization showed us that our physical capabilities and natural adaptations were unsettling to others." She gestured to a display showing Earth's environmental conditions compared to galactic averages. "Rather than frighten potential allies, we chose to emphasize our peaceful intentions. We never lied about where we came from. The data on Earth has always been available in Council records, but we understood that appearances matter in diplomacy." From her position behind the Admiral, Eliza watched the Council members' reactions. Many seemed thoughtful, while others appeared anxious. The events at New Haven had forced a dramatic reassessment of humanity's place in the galactic order. Ambassador Sophia Bennett, Earth's permanent representative to the Council, stepped forward. "To join Admiral Powell, what happened at New Haven was not what humanity wanted," she said. "We did not seek to reveal our military capabilities this way, but when thousands of innocent lives were threatened, we responded as any sovereign power would, with all necessary force," the Exori representative hissed. "The humans deployed over 500 warships to a minor border dispute." Captain Eliza couldn't remain silent any longer. She stepped forward beside the Admiral. "It was not a border dispute," she said firmly. "It was an unprovoked attack on a peaceful colony, and those weren't all warships. Many were civilian vessels with defensive capabilities. When the Omega Protocol was activated, humans across the galaxy responded, not because they were ordered to, but because they chose to protect their fellow humans." Powell nodded at Eliza before turning back to the Council. "The Omega Protocol has been deactivated. Our fleet has returned to normal duties, but humanity will no longer hide its nature or capabilities. We are what we are, a species evolved from a challenging world, physically stronger than many, more durable than most, but committed to peaceful coexistence." The Council session continued for hours as representatives debated the implications of humanity's revelation. Eventually, The chairperson called for a recess, and the human delegation withdrew to a private chamber. "You did well, Captain Winters," Admiral Powell said once they were alone. The council needed to hear from the person who activated the Omega Protocol. "What happens now?" Eliza asked. "Diplomacy happens," Ambassador Bennett replied with a tired smile. "Lots and lots of diplomacy. Some species will be frightened by what they learned about us today. Others will seek closer ties, hoping for protection. The balance of power in the galaxy has shifted." "And the Exori?" Eliza asked. "They've withdrawn from New Haven's system," Powell said. "The peace terms were generous. We returned their damaged ships and crew, but they won't forget this defeat easily." Later that day, as the council session resumed, Eliza found herself standing near a large viewing window overlooking the space around the council station. Dozens of ships from various species moved in carefully regulated patterns. Among them, she spotted the USS Horizon, her small exploration vessel that had started all of this. Ambassador Bennett joined her at the window. "Having second thoughts about sending that distress call, Captain?" Eliza shook her head. "No, we saved New Haven. But I wonder what it means for humanity going forward, now that everyone knows what we are." "It means change," Bennett said simply. "For centuries, we've been careful to present ourselves as just another species in the galactic community. Now everyone knows we're Deathworlders. Some will fear us, some will respect us. But no, one will underestimate us again." As if to emphasize her point, a massive human dreadnought appeared at the edge of the system, the Indomitable on its way to join the Council Station Defense Fleet as a gesture of Earth's new open military presence. 6 months later, Eliza stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon once more. The ship had been refitted, its previously hidden weapons systems now openly displayed. They were on another exploration mission, charting systems at the edge of known space. "Captain," called Lieutenant Paul Garcia from his communications station, "we're receiving a transmission from an unknown source." "Put it through," Eliza said. A voice spoke in a language none of them recognized, but the universal translator quickly adjusted. "Unidentified vessel, you are approaching Morellian space. Please identify yourself." "This is Captain Eliza Winters of the USS Horizon, an exploration vessel of the United Earth Fleet. We come in peace." There was a pause before the voice replied. "Human vessel acknowledged. We have heard of your kind. You may proceed with caution. Our defense fleet will escort you." First Officer Ben Phillips raised an eyebrow. "Well, that's different from the welcome we used to get." Eliza nodded. "Yes, no more pretending to be harmless explorers. No more hiding what we are." "Is that better?" Ben asked. Eliza watched as the Morellian ships appeared on their sensors, small, lightly armed vessels that approached cautiously but respectfully. "It's more honest," she said finally. "We're humans. We come from Earth. We're explorers and diplomats and traders. And yes, we're soldiers when we need to be. We're Deathworlders. And now the galaxy knows it." The USS Horizon continued on its course, no longer hiding its true nature. Behind it, across human space, other ships and colonies did the same, revealing the defenses and capabilities they had kept hidden for so long. A new era had begun for humanity among the stars, all because of one distress call that had summoned the unstoppable Deathworlder Armada. End.